Coming to you from the all-new Live House in Hollywood, California.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Pensado's Place. In a minute, you'll meet our super talented guest. We affectionately call him the Urban Hippie. But first, if you're still contemplating your career path, consider live sound. Interesting, travel, pays well, all kinds of burgeoning opportunity there. And one of the best schools ever to teach it is the Blackbird Academy. They're live classes in specific. They have 2 open, July 8th and September 30th. These are people who do it for a living, amongst the best, in a large-scale way. You couldn't go wrong by doing it. If you're in high school in that area, they have a cool thing where you get the whole Blackbird experience, including their Blackbird Academy, the Blackbird Studios, and even live class. You get the whole experience in 7 days. There's 2 high school camps still available, July 15th through 19th and August 5th through 9th. So Blackbird all summer long, you can't go wrong, and Nashville is a place for music folks. If we could indulge you to sign up for the newsletter, and if you are completely awesome, you will like, subscribe, and click notify. That would be really cool. And Dave, what's our ITL?
Oh, our friends at Leapling have a new plugin called Stage One. I'm showing you how I use it. It's pretty amazing. Check it out. My friends over at Leapling recently sent me a new plugin called Stage One, and it could be loosely called a widening plugin, but it does so much more. There's no better morning than when I wake up knowing I have a new plugin waiting for me at the studio. And well, you know what? It's even better when that plugin turns out to have new features and do things that some of my old plugins don't have, and such is the case with Stage One by Leapling. I'm going to show it to you on a song by Naboo called Come Over. I've used this song a couple of times because it's one of my favorite mixes I've done. Here's the song. So you can tell right away that this song has a vibe, and Joy Masari, the producer, and Naboo and myself, we worked really hard to get this vibe. And the plugin that would take all the music and enhance the vibe that was contributing to the project needed to do a lot. And when I got this by Leapling, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Let me share it with you. So this is what it looks like. Now check this out. What makes it unique is several things, but let's just go left to right. This is your classic width knob. I tend to like it up here a lot. Now, this determines the frequencies below which the widening won't occur. And for this, we're doing all the music. For this seemed to be a good spot to where, listen to it in the track when you're working with something like this, and there'll be a moment where the song just kind of jumps out at you more. I don't know how to describe it, because you might not think it, but usually in your music tracks, there's a lot of low-end information that can conflict and create problems with the bass and the kick. Now, to me, this is the money right here, this middle section. What this depth knob does is it's an algorithm that I haven't seen anybody else quite like this create. This allows you to psychoacoustically move the information that the plugin is converting back in the mix. So I'll give you some examples. Let me keep going through it. And this is a tilt EQ. So whatever this is doing, you can emphasize the lower frequencies by tilting down, and then high frequencies by tilting up. You know, here's a high shelf up, high shelf down. And by the way, the original signal is not affected by this. So you're not really altering your original sound. This is somewhat in parallel to it. I guess you could consider that. Now this mono spread, I don't think I've seen anybody do this either. Like we've got a lot of information in the music, coming out of the music aux, and sometimes there's some mono information. Now, when you go to spread that aux, what happens to that mono information? A lot of times, in fact, 90% of the time, nothing really. In fact, nothing spectacular. So what this allows you to do is treat just the mono part. And so let's say you widen the mono part, but you want a little more to the right in the mix, which is what I wanted here, or a little more left here. So a lot of things are going on. Let's take it for a spin. Let me show you what we're doing. Well, let me do an A-B. I told you, it's pretty impressive, huh? So let's exaggerate some things that might allow us to hear the controls a little better, you know. So here we go. Width. See how it's so musical. And then let's say we want to just do the mid-range. Ooh, that's not bad, is it? Now let's see if we can put it back in the mix. Here's in the front. Watch this. This is really cool. Here it go back to the back of the mix. I hope you have headphones or buds on. Why would you want to step back in the mix? Well, you want your vocal to be the star, right? And the vocal's usually in the middle. And so you want things to not conflict with that performance that the singer is contributing. And that's the most important part of the mix, truly. And the drums important, but most of the music parts can sit behind those things, and so this psychoacoustically creates that. I mean, watch. I think that's so cool, and then we can take some of the low end out, which is what I would think is what I think sounds better. That's more of a pop sound. Let's go a little darker. Ooh, we're down that Sade range now, and there's some mono elements. Let's play with those. Watch me pan it right. Hear it? Left. I like it slightly right. And there you have it, stage one from Leapling. And remember, it's stage O-N-E, not stage the number one. Man, kudos to the guys over there. This is really, really, really a groundbreaking plug-in and something that I'm going to use a lot. I think also too, gosh, you know, the depth, I think I can find myself using just this section on some things, just this section or just these two. It's not an all or nothing with this plugin. Really well done. Check it out, put some comments below, give some compliments to the manufacturer, a couple for me too. We'll see you next week.
Our guest just does seminal records. Early on, Outkast, TLC, Hey Ya, and Waterfalls, to current records like Tyler, the Creator, and Anderson .Paak. We lovingly call him the Urban Hippie just because of his style, and you're going to learn a lot. Please enjoy our conversation with the one, the only, Neal Pogue. What's up, bro?
Hey.
How are you, brother?
Good to be back.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Yeah.
You know,
Been a while.
part of well, one, in knowing you, I mean, full transparency, we've all been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Your wife, Cherokee, was an artist on my label at the time, manager for a while. Like, there's a lot of history, great history. But the projects that you have done and the interesting demand, it always feels to me like you let your intuition be your guide and you mix things. Like it's not this overly technical thing, it's a feel thing. Am I getting that right?
You're right on point.
Is that right?
What it is.
Is that always what's led you?
Right. That's what it's always been, that God voice, the gut feeling, you know, and just moving with that.
God voice.
And also being a drummer, you know, back in the day, and you know, being the timekeeper and being aware of the bass player, the guitar part, you know, everybody. I think that helped me as well. You know, had to always listen, had to kind of keep everybody locked in, and that was a good thing.
Is it fair to say that, because it's the other thing, not only knowing some of your work, but listening to your work, it seems to me like you kind of engineer like you're a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because that was my thing. I wanted to produce. You know, I was a producer more than a mixer. I was always that. You know, I kind of went into mixing because I wanted to mix my own productions. And then, you know, then the phone started ringing. So, and, you know,
well,
the road always goes, you know, when you're going this way, the road goes that. But, you know, but I thought that's a great thing because it brought me back to what I wanted to do. So,
with that kind of overview, does that overview inform your mixes? Like, because you're looking at it as a producer, you kind of look at it differently, and then because the other part of that is the artists have to trust you, right, to give you room to go. Is that part of it?
Yes, most definitely. I think it's a gift and a curse to look at it as a producer and not just a mixer. You know, because sometimes I may overthink some things, and it may take me longer to really get to something that should have taken 5 minutes, but I'm analyzing it and, you know, tweaking it a little more.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Can be a burden.
So I have to stop myself sometimes. Say, it's done. Stop it. You know what I mean?
So self-editing is important.
It is. That's what it is, definitely.
That picture right there, there's a couple of combinations throughout history, you know, like the Beatles and George, but you and Outkast and Andre are just a marriage made in heaven.
That was a good time.
I mean, hey, I'm not sure music ever got much better than that. And it was
like
just
another lifetime.
You know, my dear friend Kevin worked on that, Kevin Kendrick. But man, what a great combination throughout their, you know, Outkast. You did the very first Outkast record all the way down, you know.
Yeah, that was the magic 90s, you know.
What do you think it is about that group that makes that combination work so much? And by the way, you can't brag or boast on this show. You're here to tell what you do. So it's just, what do you think?
You know, the Southern flavor is honesty, and I think it's coming from a pure place. It's not pretentious. They always want to, because it was a thing where, you know, you had the New York scene and the LA scene had their necks on the South. Because they didn't have the respect. So, you know, once the Chronic came out, it was game on. And it was like, okay, now we need to come with something hard too. And that's how Southern Playlistic came to be.
Oh, really?
Because hearing that Chronic album, it was like, okay, we need to stomp on some people too. And so it was a complete focus, you know what I mean? And that's how it came to be. And after that, it was just a steamroller.
I think that's always been a little bit of what Atlanta, when we had folks on, Colin Leonard, Phil Tan, Leslie Braithwaite, whoever's come, and a number of others, there's a commitment to the Southern thing, but an edge like, no, we're competitive. We're gonna kick your butt. Don't look down on us here. Right. Is that fair? Is that part of the makeup?
It's so funny. And being from the North, I'm from New Jersey. Right. But being that my grandparents were from the South, I almost like felt as though I was representing the South. You know what I mean? So I was in the trenches with them. You know, with that whole rah rah, let's go type thing, and it was fun. It was fun.
The Outkast record certainly did that.
I kind of feel Southern, but, you know, I grew up in South Florida, so I'm not that Southern. But for me, it always felt like everybody just made fun of the South, including me at some point before I became, before I got this accent. And everything I say sounds way dumber than everything Herb says, because he's got a great accent. And so you get an insecurity thing, and you want to just constantly prove that you're good. So the Allman Brothers prove they're good. Otis prove he's good. You know, and I think that underdog mentality probably serves a lot of people from that region really well.
I'm sure Stax had to feel the same way. The Mississippi,
Memphis.
wherever you were from, Memphis, wherever you were from,
Yeah.
you always had to prove yourself. When it
And
comes to
to
Southern
be
music.
fair, that's not unusual around the world, but still, in the South, it seems like that's a badge you wear.
Yeah.
And I think it did me good. I wasn't a competitive person until I got to Atlanta, and probably your visit to Atlanta.
And I didn't know what to think of the South before I got there because I hadn't been to the South since the 60s, since I was a kid. So when I met Bobby Brown, he moved there and he wanted me to work with him down there. I was like, Atlanta. So I'm thinking about dirt roads. I was ignorant to
it. And
it.
then you got an apartment for 20 a month and you liked it.
Know what I mean? I got there, it was like, whoa. And then, then 12 years later, I'm still there, It was great. I didn't know what to think of the South.
What made you move back to LA?
It was just time. It was just pulled me back because I started in LA with, working with you and other people. And I was there from 84 till 1990, like the end of 1990, like November 1990. And that's when I went to Atlanta. I was only supposed to be there for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And then I woke up 12 years later.
Wow. Wow.
Just a quick aside, when you, Dave Aaron, and I were working together, we're going to miss him, He was a good man. He was a great man.
guy.
Great man. But, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, the process that you use, because you're so intuitive about what you do, my guess is that the technical process that you do is not overly complicated either.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, a lot of people, speaking of technical, a lot of people like to think of frequencies. I don't think that way. I mean, I know it, but to think that is silly to me because every sound is different. So I can't think that, that needs this or that needs that, because you don't know until you listen to it, until you tweak it a little bit, and then okay, that's what it, you know what I mean?
You
so
think
it's
of
a
the
learning
frequency as a messenger for the emotion and the feeling and the vibe, and so certain frequencies carry certain amounts of translation to the end user, So if you want power, you go down to the 40s, 60s, 80s, and
emotion.
that's what you do.
Yeah, certain emotion it brings out too. Like if you go punk rock, it makes you want to get into a thing and fight. Certain music, like classical, certain things make you feel a certain way. So frequencies at any moment, you can put that high mid and make you want to fight somebody. So, you know what I mean? So you just have to be careful. Some hip hop is like that too.
Yeah.
Current
hip hop has gotten a lot more mid-rangey than they've learned how to use, or we've learned how to use.
But you're literally listening to your ears and not letting your intellect and understanding of it get in the way of that.
Yeah,
right?
Because I always think, before there was written music, before that we knew what frequencies were, there was sound. We used this before. We used, this before anything. So that's what I use first. Because that's
you have a saying, you see with your ears.
See with your ears, yeah. That's what I do. I see with my ears.
And you also call yourself a street mixer. I thought that was cool.
Right, yeah.
Did you appreciate my urban hippie?
That's kind of cool, because I think that way.
I'm
kind of cool.
That's fine.
I was writing this morning and went, I know, that's
I like that.
Cool.
I'm an On the Boulevard
because
mixer.
it was more important you liked it than whether you liked it.
No.
I'm an On the Boulevard mixer.
Okay.
No, I'm on the way mixer.
Never mind. Working with Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great
That has
record.
to be was that a unique experience? Describe it.
It was great because I didn't know. I met with him at his office first, and at his management's office, and on the way there, because all I knew about this crazy guy and and stuff. And so when I got there, I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay, what type of album is this going to be? So I got there, waited a little bit. He came down and he was real cool. We talked about music and went real deep.
He's
got a lot of depth.
Very
what I mean? He's not a surface guy. He's real deep. What I mean? He listens to a lot of music, He knows music. And after I heard these demos, he sent them to me and I was like, wow, okay, he's on to something new. You know what I mean? I don't want to correlate a maturing thing because I don't want to insult him, but it felt as though he was going to another level.
A growth.
Yeah, it was a growth. It was maybe time to prove himself. Like, okay, maybe I should go where I need to go now. And it was fun. It was great that he was at that point that him and I met. Because it was great for me to be in that moment with him. It's great. After doing albums like Aquemini and those records, and that's what it felt like. It felt like that moment where, okay, let's elevate now. You know what I mean? And that's what Flower Boy was.
You've been, I'm a big fan of yours, so I've listened to a lot of your work, but it seems like lately you're getting more experimental, like the Anderson .Paak record with the Grammy record, Bubbling. That's very experimental.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite records you've done, and I hope everybody goes out and listens to it because it's very exemplary of his skill set. The Doja Cat record is very inventive. So like you're on this inventive thing going now.
Thank you. Thank you for that, because I didn't know if anybody listened to it. That's one of my favorite albums, is the Doja Cat record, and the Bubbling mix too.
Is there a story you can share about that record?
Not really, because
What's
that was
her
a record I
background?
did at the house, and did in a box, which is great, and I was given carte blanche, some comfort, and just do my thing, and they trusted me. It was
paid
fun.
off big time.
And she knows what she wants. She's focused.
Do you work mostly at home?
I would say 95%.
Yeah.
Tyler, I did outside the house at Paramount.
Okay.
And, it depends on the budget.
Right.
And depends on the, and there are some things I say, maybe I should do that at home, because I will have more luxury, more time to get up, go to the bathroom, go, maybe sit on it for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Sit in the bathroom?
Yeah, sit in the bathroom.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's great too. Get the magazine rack ready.
Been there, done that.
Still doing it.
Great work happens there.
Right.
They can't lie.
Ideas too.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
get up real quick. Like, hey.
Gotta go.
Right.
What do you think of, now that you've got some time to look back, what do you think when you hear Waterfalls again, TLC? Because that record is in my top 5 still.
I think that I could have mixed it better.
Really?
That's what every time I hear it.
Yeah.
What would you change?
I just feel as though I think that it should have been fuller. I almost want to look at it again and say, okay, what's here? For some reason, it feels like it has a hole in it to me.
I disagree. The subject matter is a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. I still do.
Right. I mean, just the mix. I mean, the song is fantastic, but the mix, like, I wanted to just. I know you have mixes you hear, and it's like, man, if I could have only just.
Well, let's go backwards.
Yeah.
I wish there was a mix. I didn't think that on there. You think all of them,
Yeah.
Because we change as engineers. We don't.
Right.
Like you don't sound like you did last year.
Right.
Is there any hit that you had that you feel, got it, did it right?
I feel that way about the Buddy album.
That's a great.
I feel
record.
that way about Tyler's album. I feel that way about Bubbling.
Hey, yeah.
No, I could have done that better. That's just me.
Gotcha.
That's just me. It's like an actor who goes to the
What
premiere.
the F would you do better? That
I
is
don't
a
know.
perfect record.
I don't know. It's like an actor who walks the red carpet and then when it's time to sit down and watch his movie, like you leave. I'm that guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll take the pictures of it, but when it's time to sit down,
I'm
I'm gone.
Yeah,
I can't listen.
I understand that.
Because I know it's something I could have done better.
Yeah. I'm that way about this.
Yeah. Do you think that's might be an occupational hazard because a movie director, they know how it ends. I mean, like we know where the bones are and where all the skeletons are, and we know what we did, what we were given, and I don't think we'll ever be able to hear our own work objectively, even stuff we did years ago.
That's true. I mean, thank God the public loves it.
Right.
So, I mean, we're good. Right. You can kind of settle in on that, Yeah,
and there was something, there was something along the way for both you guys and for me as a manager where everybody went, cool. And, it could be time, it could be, we got to put it out, it could be whatever circumstance, but there's something that causes us to relinquish at that point in time. And then, if we're lucky enough, something turns into a hit, then you review it and go, but if I just, I mean, I do that as a manager. Go, well, we got 1 million plus. But what if we had done this and gotten to?
Because once it's over, it's over. You can't go back to it.
But you know what? I just had a thought. Please tell me both of you guys if this is correct. When we had to do a mix a day, period, end of discussion, that pressure and deadline caused us to work one way. Now when you're at home in the bathroom watching, reading magazines, you got all the time in the world, and
Right.
I think that's not a healthy thing. I really just sitting here thinking about it. Having too much time for a creative person is not a healthy thing. Maybe
But do you remember
I don't
those
know.
days that you and I had luxury back in those days? We spend 3 days on a mix.
Yeah,
You know, that was lovely.
that was a different time. You know, but,
that's when money flowed.
I don't think we were supposed to.
right. Sometimes like wrap it up.
Yeah. But I do feel like some of our friends, Leslie works real fast, Chris works real
quick.
fast. A lot of people that in today's world are working real fast. And I told my staff, you know, you got to ride me. I'm gonna start working faster. You know, push me.
Yeah, I've had to learn that.
Yeah,
just get to it.
I think
Just
it's
get to
healthy.
it. Yeah,
I agree.
it is.
Are you a software guy? Plugins and stuff?
I mean, I use them, but I'm not the guy who runs and listens to the latest software.
Okay.
Nah,
So you have some go-tos that you like?
Yeah, and then I'll have some stuff that I bought that I haven't used yet. And I go, oh, let me try that out. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll go to my SSL EQs and my UA compressors. I go to my LA2As, things that I would normally do this and reach back. You know what I mean? Right. Or the EQs right there.
You're not using any real outboard gear, like?
No, I don't. I haven't done that yet. And people like.
Are you summing?
I just have my little Kawai 8 channel. You know what I mean? I've used that for years. I haven't changed.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything. You know what I mean? I'm the type of guy who'll sit on something for years.
I love that. That's what I love about, because there's no way in listening to your records over time that you'd ever realize that.
Yeah.
And it tells me that kind of simplistic, intuitive approach can get everything out of a record.
Yeah.
That somebody who just is a wizard at stuff, and you know, and I respect that as well too. But I think the art form of being able to be true to yourself, listen to yourself, trust yourself, not have a lot of things interrupt.
Yeah.
Somehow the connective thing to the emotion of a record seems clearer to me. The signal, the signal path is
I agree.
is clear, and I think you represent that. What is education important for folks coming up?
Yeah, I think the foundation is good, and then find your way of what is you, rather than following what the trend is. Like, what are you bringing to the table? And people tell me that I have a sound, but I haven't heard it yet, and I think that's why I don't have a template when I bring up a mix. I'm always like starting from, okay, let me just use this, let me try this. I'm always trying things. So I know a lot of people have a template that they use, and that's why they're so fast, but it's hard for me to work that way. Even though I can complete a song in a day, but it's hard for me to have a template. It's weird for me personally.
See, it's interesting you said that, because one of the questions I had, and I don't think there was an answer, so I haven't asked it, is there a Neal Pogue signature? And I don't necessarily think there is.
No, I think I always want to just, because I'm such a guy who's of service. I like to serve the client, where it's like, okay, I want to meld into what they're doing. And if my sound happens to come out of that, fine. But because some people may go, oh, I didn't know you did Donna Missile record. I didn't know you did, because I don't know if I have a sound. Some people find out later that I did something. You know what I mean?
But there's a certain kind of artist that's attracted to you because of that. There's a holistic, creative, kind of in touch with their sort of spirit kind of artist that I think looks for you to do it. So your signature may not be musical. It may be in your emotional connection to an artist.
No, it's like,
there's
it's hard to...
some magic going on with you, bro.
It's like,
It feels
I've
to me
been blessed.
like, it feels to me like having a sound as a mix engineer is more a 90s thing, because in the 80s and 90s, we would get a session, we'd strip everything off of it and start from scratch. So we removed the sound that was already there and substituted our own, which in most cases was better.
Yeah, we replaced the kick and snare and everything.
Most of our clients use what we use. So we take that same information and finish the mix part of that. So we don't have as much access to creating a unique sound. We tend to finish the sound that they gave us.
Right.
And there's some exceptions to that, but I think that's probably why today we don't really have a sound like we used to back in the day.
Do you have a particular genre that you like over others, or?
I don't. I was the kid who listened to everything, everything, and I'm so glad that I'm not in a box. I'm so glad that people from all walks of whatever call me, and it's great.
Do you mix those things up too when you're doing your work? Like,
no, because certain things will remind me of something when I was a kid. It's like my brain's like an encyclopedia of stuff. So if I'm given something that sounds like something, I go, oh, that sounds like that. So I would kind of pay homage to that, by mixing it. It may sound like Fleetwood Mac, or it may sound like the Carpenters, or it may sound like Parliament, or it may sound like Oz Brothers. It's so much inside my head when I was a kid. So,
but would you ever take like a Fleetwood Mac thing and you're working on a hip hop record on Anderson .Paak and say,
if it has a melody that reminds me, most definitely, most definitely, I'll take it there. I'll take it most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm a melody guy.
Are you really?
Yeah, melodies first with me. So it's catchy.
What's your thought process when you start a mix by starting with the drums? What goes through your mind for a reason to do that?
Nowadays, it's everything is about it's always been about the drums, of course, about the groove, but nowadays it's so about the drums. Yeah. So my first thought is always, okay, I gotta make sure the client is happy with the drums, that they're that they don't feel insecure about the next record that's on the radio, that it's just as competitive. Those are things you worry about nowadays, because they're always worried about, the 808's got to be competitive, or that's got to be, So that always is.
And then once you get the drums, do you go to the vocals next, or the music, or the bass? We go to the bass next, of course.
I've been the guy from the drums to the bass to keys or guitar. I've been the guy who builds from there down, all the way down to the string. The strings is last. Yeah. I've always, I can't even touch the vocals until I've finished with the groove. With
I mostly work that way too.
Music,
And a lot of times people ask me, well, how do you leave room for the lead? And I'm like, I've been doing this a while. You just automatically hear it when you're doing it, right?
Know it, right? You just know it. You just know how to leave some room. It's just practice.
So we're in the middle of your process. You build all the music. You get that right. Is that informing you at that point in time what you do with the vocal? Is it just about having the vocal up front? Or is it
I may sneak at the vocals. I may bring it, let me hear it, like the backgrounds, because I always start with the backgrounds after the music, and I'll start with the hook, because that's the most important thing to me is the hook, because that's what people are going to be singing. Of course, they're going to know the verses and everything, but that hook, if it's an important hook, that's what they're going to be singing first. From Motown, we've always sung the hook first.
That's true.
So that's what I start with first after that, to see where that is sitting in the mix.
See, and while you're saying that, which is crazy, is you saying that, me thinking about it, is now I can't get Hey Ya out of my head.
I know.
The hook of it is just,
I know. It was a perfect record.
It's addictive. But I can
people know that before they know what he's singing in the verses. No question. Right, that's just so hooky.
I don't know if I've ever gotten past it. I mean, I know the words, but that's...
Plus the video was amazing.
Yeah, he did a great job with that.
It was certainly magical.
He's a special cat.
He is.
Are you optimistic about where music is and where it's going, what's happening?
I'm optimistic because I'm seeing the young crowd going back into the studios. That's what I love about the music industry right now. Like the studio business is booming, and that's great. I was a little worried for a minute where everybody is inside their bedrooms and everything.
For sure.
But they're inside studios again. And I think the publishing companies are the ones that are really spending the money now. And the labels are, of course the streaming game has made them, made their pockets a little fuller. So now they're paying for studio time with records that they really care about. So that's good.
I never thought about that, but it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
How does the internet play into your world? Do you ever take mixes from the internet? Is that work that you look at sometimes?
People from the internet will call me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's random people who call me.
Sure.
Yeah, most definitely. 'Cause
everybody has to.
Yeah, because there's some really good stuff out there, and sometimes they don't have the money, and you're like, I want to be involved with that. But you never know what's going to happen. You never know.
And it's, sometimes it's just day-to-day business.
Right.
There's money, there's a fee, and send a file and get it done. And
because the internet is the underground now.
Yeah, and I'm not certain it's the underground anymore.
Yeah,
it
it's true. It's still right. It's the mid-ground, which is above ground.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Are any of your children musical?
Yeah, my daughter, she plays piano.
Okay.
Yeah, she's doing her piano lessons and everything. And my son, he was taking drum lessons, quit for a little while, but I said, let me give him a little time to rest.
Let him breathe.
And then because I always have this thing where it seems like when you get towards the age of 13, 14, that's when you want to take an instrument serious. But earlier than that, you're thinking about video games and everything else.
Yeah.
And playing outside, doing that, and playing an instrument can be, like a task for a young person.
Absolutely.
But once they get older, then they're maybe looking at their friends who are playing, and seeing different things. You take them to concerts, and they're like, "Oh, okay, now I want to play."
And do any of them have technical leanings? Like when they see you work, are they interested in?
They never walk in my room unless they want to grab something out of my room. It's like they don't pay any mind to what I'm doing.
At all.
No. Until they hear something, they go, oh, something like, I mixed that. You did? I'm like, so you were in your bedroom and you did not hear that song that one time while I was in there mixing it.
Right.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
That is funny.
Right.
What are some techniques that you've discovered, both mentally and actually, in Pro Tools, to streamline and make your workflow more efficient? Like, I noticed you talk sometimes about color coding your tracks. You know, like drums are black.
Yeah,
duh,
definitely.
And guitar. Let's see, bass is brown.
No, bass is blue.
Bass is blue. Oh, I got it right here. Yeah. What a surprise. Guitar is orange. Keyboard's green. Vocals red, unless they're females.
Male vocals are red.
Don't say what the girls are. It's a different world.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Pink.
Yeah.
It's
Pink's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
But any techniques or tips? Because I need to be faster.
Well, nowadays, with Pro Tools, since there's so much separation, back in the day when we had analog, they would blend the backgrounds. Yeah. So now I'm like, let me just blend these down. Right. Let me bounce them to a blend, so I don't have to be worrying about, being self-conscious about something being up.
Do you reblend them, or you use the blend you were getting?
Yeah, I'll get a nice blend of it, and then I'll bounce it down, so I don't have to worry about the tedious thing of bring that harmony down, this up, this boom, boom. It's like sometimes if it's separated, then you're self-conscious about it. But if it's already blended, you're stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Do you use same things with like keyboard parts and stuff like that sometimes?
It depends. If it's like the same thing, I'll blend it. Yeah.
Like two sounds that work together.
They're doing the same thing, and it's like something that the client is not going to be too crazy about. Then yeah.
When you write, because you write as well, correct? What do you write to? Do you play something? Do you?
Me, I'm more of now. In my life, I'm more of a lyric guy.
Oh, okay.
Like if an artist comes to me and they're stuck on something, I like to add to
Got
it.
it. Okay. Got it.
I like to work with live musicians. I love to work with bands that write their own music, and I come in almost like I guess you could say Quincy.
Yeah.
I hate to say that'd be.
But I understand what you mean.
Disrespectful, but you know what I mean? Come in and try to enhance what's there, you know what I mean? I love finding songs and sitting down with the artists, and I love, arranging. I love that. I like dismantling and rearranging it and, and making it into a song.
So
I love that type of production.
And do you find that the artists that you work with will engage you to do, and not necessarily work, but just utilize all those different skills? Oh, you might find a song, or you might finish a song, or you might arrange a thing. Do you get that kind of luxury with the artists that hire you?
Yeah, the ones I'm working with, yeah.
Okay.
The ones who hire me, I guess it's a trust level there. So yeah. And
So the role is like Quincy. It's like being a director of a movie.
Right, it is, yeah.
You're signing parts and overseeing things and stepping in where you need and dealing with the writer's room.
Right.
Well, one of the things we got to do around here is a thing called Batter's Box. And it's going to be a Southern battle.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, but, well...
I hope it's not named the streets. I'm terrible with street names.
No, it's easier than that. I guess it's not a Southern off. He's multinational, and
he's nationwide.
He is nationwide. Nationwide.
I'm coastal, I guess, right?
There you go. There you go. All right, let's tee it up, David.
Okay, reverb.
Deverb.
808s.
Hip hop.
Limiters.
Sometimes.
Loops.
Nutty.
Kicks.
Wow.
Is that an answer?
EQ.
Okay. Synthesizers.
Too many of them.
DAWs.
Too many of them.
Stereo bus.
A luxury.
The cheapest piece of gear you used on a record we might know.
Wow. The cheapest.
Or the least expensivest.
My Kawhi mixer.
What?
My Kawhi mixer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How much was it?
Man, I think I bought that from a secondhand store for like $50.
No joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Years ago, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
And still using it today.
Yeah, still using it. I just love the way it looked.
And that's a lesson, I think, to the
Yeah.
audience that
Right.
it's not always
I lost another one.
Yeah.
it's not always a flossy piece of gear that you have. It's the one
Yeah.
that gets the work done.
A lot of times, you remember how much cheap gear I used to use? And those were the pieces I'd get the compliments on. It was
Yeah.
like kind of disturbing, like that
Right.
$25 Ibanez reverb that Maserati hit me to. $25.
Yeah.
Compliments.
Yeah.
And then we got all this expensive gear at Larrabee, remember?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's always the cheapest gear that does the best job. It's always, man.
You can count
I
on it,
love
know
that.
it's gonna be.
That's like about the deverb. It's how you use it.
Exactly.
You know, people are like deverb. I'm like, yeah, it's how you use it. How you use the you know.
I get a lot of songs with
pre-delay.
reverb on it.
It's how you flip it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool stuff.
Neal, a friend always. We're admirers and always have been. Continued success. Love to the family. Love
Thank
to
you.
Roki.
Thank you.
And
It's great being here.
you know,
years.
you're always welcome here. We got more stuff going on. We'd love to include you in if you want to. Is that
Call
good?
me. I'm always around.
All right.
Yeah.
Neal Pogue, Dave, take us home.
One of the things that I really, really, really enjoy sitting in this chair and sitting across gifted people like Neal is I get to learn some things. When we were all at Larrabee, I couldn't walk up to Neal and go, "Hey, Neal, what's the cheap piece of gear you use?" We just didn't do that. And now in this chair, I get to do that. And why am I bringing this up? Well, there's a way to use the information that you get from someone like Neal. When he listed his order in which he started doing things, the most important point is not what he said, but that he has a plan. So I think what I'm taking from that, and the headline for me was to start with the background vocals first. I'm gonna start doing that because that makes total sense. But you can get all sorts of information from our guests, and there's different ways to assimilate it into your own workflow. And thank you for that, Neal. It was a lot of fun because I learned some stuff. We'll see you next time.